Welcome dear friends to my video lecture on the contribution of Noddings to the development of educational thought for social change. That is in unit 1 of NET education. Let us straight away enter into the topic. As you know, I am Dr.I.JESU DOSS SJ, a former associate professor and research supervisor from St.Xavier's College of Education, Palayamkotti. All along my life I was giving coaching to the NET-aspirants. So many of them have passed in the past. Even now I am just giving it through online education. So thank you very much for your presence. Continue to support me so that I am able to give more and more fruitful educational videos for your success in education. So let us straight away enter into the topic. The contribution of Noddings to the development of educational thought for social change. Noddings is a lady only, is an influential educational philosopher best known for her ideas on the ethics of care. Very important word is here, this ethics of care ethics. If you understand this particular idea, I think you will be able to solve any question under this topic. So her ideas were on the ethics of care, so sympathy, love, affection, all these things, loving people unconditionally, all these things come here. Her work has had a significant impact on how we think about education, especially in the context of social change. Noddings believes that education should focus on the development of caring relationships and the well-being of students rather than just academic success. So a very important point is here, is that education should focus on the development of caring relationship with the love, sympathy, care for the, needy, all these things. So education should focus on the development of caring relationship and the well-being of students rather than just academic success. The focus on care has inspired new ways of thinking about the role of education in society. The ethics of care. Noddings' main contribution to education is her theory of the ethics of care. She believed that human beings are naturally inclined to care for one another. This caring nature should be the foundation of all educational practices according to her. Noddings argues that education is not just about passing on knowledge, but also about teaching students how to care for others, themselves and this community, society. In her view, caring relationship between teachers and students are the most important part of education. Teachers must not only be knowledgeable, but also be compassionate, understanding, in other words, loving and sympathetic towards students. They should create a safe and supportive environment where students feel valued and understood. When students feel cared for, they are more likely to succeed academically and socially. This helps to foster a sense of community in the classroom where everyone feels responsible for each other's well-being. Then education for social change. How she views education for social change. Noddings believes that education can play a key role in creating a more caring and just society. She emphasizes that education should prepare students to be responsible, compassionate citizens who are ready to contribute positively to the world. For her, social change begins with how we treat one another in our daily lives. Schools should teach students the importance of caring relationships, empathy and understanding differences. By doing this, education can help to reduce inequality and promote social justice. One way that Noddings suggests education can lead to social change is by encouraging students to critically think about societal problems. She advocates for schools to teach students not just about academic subjects but also about moral issues and how to address social inequalities. For example, students should learn about issues like poverty, racism and environmental sustainability. They should be encouraged to question injustice and think about ways they can contribute to positive change in their communities. She is, this Nell Noddings sees teaching as a caring profession. Noddings sees teaching as one of the most important caring professions. Of course, medicine, these doctors are also caring professionals, like teachers, right? According to her, teachers should not only be focused on delivering content, but also on building strong, caring relationship with the students. A teacher who cares for the students will be more attentive to their needs and help them succeed, not just academically, but emotionally and socially as well. She suggests that the caring relationship in education is reciprocal. It comes to us. You give it, is a give and take, like you give it and you get it back also. Reciprocal. It is not just the teacher who cares for the student. The student in turn responds by caring for the teacher. So caring on both sides. Teacher cares for the students care for the teachers. Reciprocal relationship. This mutual care creates a positive environment for learning, where students feel comfortable sharing their thoughts, asking questions and expressing themselves. This dynamic helps to develop a classroom culture that values kindness, respect and understanding. What are the criticisms against this traditional education? What are the criticisms of traditional education according to Noddings? Noddings is critical of traditional models of education that focus too much on competition, standardization and individual achievement. She believes these models do not support the development of caring relationship and often overlook the emotional and social needs of students. In a system that values test scores and rankings over well-being, at present we are doing that only, students may feel isolated or stressed, which can negatively impact their learning. So we are giving importance more to academic side, rankings, test scores, conducting tests, examinations, objective types, all these things. But we are not worried about the well-being of the student. That is what she criticizes against this traditional model of education. She argues that women should be more personalized, where teachers understand and respond to the unique needs of each student. So here she talks about individual attention to the students. This approach would create a more inclusive and equitable learning environment. Instead of focusing on ranking students or pushing them to meet rigid academic standards, education should help them grow as whole people, developing their moral, emotional and intellectual capacities. What are the implications for educational policy? Her ideas, what was the impact on educational policy, her ideas. Noddings' ideas have significant implications for educational policy. Her emphasis on care, challenges many current educational practices that give importance to standardized testing and academic achievement over students' emotional and social development. That means what? Over students' emotional and social development means they are not giving prime importance to students' emotional and social development. Noddings argues that policymakers should rethink how schools are structured and how success is measured. Schools should be places where students feel cared for, supported and valued, not just judged based on their test scores. For Noddings, a caring approach to education would involve changes to teacher training, curricula and assessment methods. Teachers would need to be trained not just in academic subjects but also in how to build strong, caring relationships with students. Curricula would need to include topics related to empathy, moral education and social justice. Assessment methods would need to move beyond standardized tests and take into account the emotional and social development of students. What could be the concluding remarks? Nell Noddings has made a profound contribution to educational thought, particularly in how education can contribute to social change. Her ethics of care theory emphasizes the importance of relationships, empathy, and moral development in education. By fostering caring relationships in schools, education can help to create a more just and compassionate society. Noddings challenges traditional models of education that focus too much on competition and academic achievement, calling instead for an approach that values the whole person, complete development of students. Her ideas encourage educators and policymakers to think about how schools can not only educate but also nurture students to become responsible, caring citizens, loving citizens. What is Nell Noddings best known for in educational philosophy? Some questions let us analyze. What is Nell Noddings best known for in educational philosophy? Constructivism, ethics of care, progressivism, behaviorism. Of course, ethics of care, you know that. Nell Noddings is primarily known for the theory of the ethics of care, which emphasizes the importance of caring relationships in education. According to Noddings, what should be the foundation of education? What should be the foundation? What is the basics of education? Academic success, knowledge of facts, caring relationship, discipline, as you know, caring relationship. Noddings believes that the foundation of education should be caring relationships between teachers and students rather than just focusing on academics. In Noddings' view, which qualities is essential for teachers? Strictness, competitiveness, compassion, objectivity. That is compassion. Noddings argues that teachers must show compassion and understanding to create a supportive learning environment. How does Noddings believe social change can be achieved through education? By focusing on test scores, by fostering caring relationships, through competition among students, by strict discipline. How does Noddings believe social change can be achieved through education? By fostering caring relationships. Noddings believes that caring relationship in education can lead to positive social change by promoting empathy and understanding. What does Noddings emphasize as more important than academic achievement? Strict discipline, emotional and social development, memorization of facts, test scores. What does Noddings emphasize as more important than academic achievement? That is emotional and social development. Noddings believes that emotional and social development should take priority over academic achievement in education. According to Noddings, what should schools teach students besides academic subjects? According to Noddings, what should schools teach students besides academic subjects? Moral issues and social justice, competitive skills, strict discipline, financial literacy. So, what should schools teach students? Moral issues and social justice. Noddings advocates for schools to teach moral education and raise awareness about social issues like inequality. What kind of classroom environment does Noddings advocate for? Competitive, supportive and caring, strict and formal, highly standardized. Supportive and caring. Noddings emphasizes the importance of creating a supportive and caring classroom environment where students feel valued. What does Noddings see as the key to reducing inequality through education? More testing, empathy and understanding differences, better textbooks, larger class sizes. What does Noddings see as the key to reducing inequality through education? That is empathy and understanding differences. Noddings believes that teaching empathy and understanding is essential to reducing inequality and fostering social justice. How does Noddings view the role of teachers? As a strict disciplinarians, as facilitators of caring relationships, as conveyors of information, as impartial judges. How does Noddings view the role of teachers? As facilitators of caring relationships. Noddings sees teachers as facilitators of caring relationships which help students succeed both academically and socially. Which of the following does Noddings criticize about traditional education models? Too much emphasis on physical education, overemphasis on standardized testing and competition, lack of textbook resources, focus on creativity. Which of the following does Noddings criticize about traditional education models? Overemphasis on standardized testing and competition, that is conducting examinations, etc. Noddings criticizes traditional education by focusing too much on competition and testing, which neglects the social and emotional needs of the students. In Noddings' views, what creates a positive learning environment? High competition among students, mutual care between teachers and students, strict grading systems, regular exams. So in Noddings' view, what creates a positive learning environment? That is mutual care between teachers and students. Noddings emphasizes the importance of mutual care between teachers and students to create a positive learning environment. What does Noddings suggest about the relationship between teacher and student? What does Noddings suggest about the relationship between teacher and student? It should be distant and formal. It should be built on mutual care. It should be based on strict discipline. It should prioritize academic instruction only. So what does Noddings suggest about the relationship between teacher and student? It should be built on mutual care. Noddings advocates for a reciprocal, caring relationship where both teachers and students care for each other. Noddings believes that caring relationship in schools can lead to what? Higher test scores, a sense of community and responsibility, increased competition, strict behavior management. So Noddings believes that caring relationship will lead to a sense of community and responsibility. Caring relationship foster a sense of community where students and teachers feel responsible for each other's well-being. What does Noddings believe traditional education overlooks, neglects? Creativity, emotional and social needs of students, classroom technology, importance of discipline. So, according to her, Noddings, traditional education overlooks or neglects emotional and social needs of students. Noddings argues that traditional education focuses too much on academic success and overlooks students' emotional and social needs. According to Noddings, what should replace rigid academic standards? More frequent testing, personalized caring approaches, a focus on competitive learning, stricter grading systems. So according to Noddings, what should replace rigid academic standards? Personalized caring approaches. Noddings advocates for personalized education that responds to the unique needs of each student rather than rigid academic standards. How does Noddings suggest teachers be trained? What should be the technique of teacher training in the training institutes according to Noddings? Only in academic subjects. Training should be given only in academic subjects in both content and caring relationships, primarily in classroom management. It should be given in standardized testing method, which is the correct one. In both content and caring relationships. Noddings argues that teachers should be trained not only in academic subjects but also in how to build strong caring relationships with the students. What does Noddings believe education should measure? Test scores and academic ranking, emotional, social and intellectual development, attendance rates, memorization of facts. So what does Noddings believe education should measure? Education should measure emotional, social and intellectual development of students. Noddings suggests that education should measure the overall development of students, not just their academic success. In what way does Noddings believe education should address social inequalities? By reinforcing strict academic standards, by teaching empathy and social responsibility, through competitive testing, by increasing schools' budgets. So, in what way does Noddings believe education should address social inequalities? By teaching empathy and social responsibility. Noddings believes education should help students understand and address social inequalities through empathy and responsibility. Which aspect of Noddings' educational theory challenges current practices? Emphasis on extracurricular activities, focus on standardization and testing, use of new technologies, inclusion of physical education. Focus on standardization and testing. Noddings challenges the overemphasis on standardized testing and academic achievement in current educational practices. What does Noddings believe is the ultimate goal of education? High academic achievement, development of caring and responsible citizens, strict classroom discipline, mastery of core subjects. Which is the right one? What does Noddings believe is the ultimate goal of education? The ultimate goal of education, according to her, is the development of caring and responsible citizens. Noddings believes that education's ultimate goal is to develop students into responsible, compassionate individuals who contribute positively to society. Which of the following best reflects Noddings' view on teacher-student interactions? Teachers should remain distant from students. Teachers should focus on building strong, caring relationships. Teachers should prioritize academic content only. Teachers should maintain strict discipline at all times. So what is the question? Which of the following best reflects Noddings' view on teacher-student interactions? Noddings advocates for teachers to focus on creating meaningful, caring relationships with their students. According to Noddings, what is the main criticism of competition in schools? According to Noddings, what is the main criticism of competition in schools? It improves student performance, it leads to higher test scores, it neglects students' emotional and social well-being, it helps teachers manage classroom better. It neglects students' emotional and social well-being, according to Nell Noddings. Nell Noddings criticizes competition in schools because it often ignores the emotional and social needs of the students. What kind of change does Noddings suggest for educational policies? Policies that emphasize test-based evaluation, policies that support caring relationship and moral development, policies that increase class sizes, policies focused solely on teacher accountability. So, what kind of changes does Noddings suggest for educational practice? Policies that policies that support caring relationships and moral development. Noddings advocates for educational policies that promote caring relationships and emphasize students' moral development. Which of the following does Noddings emphasize as a core part of moral education? Memorization of moral codes, empathy and the ability to care for others, strict adherence to school's rules, focus on personal success. So which of the following does Noddings emphasize as a core part of moral education? Empathy and the ability to care for others. Noddings believes that empathy and caring for others are essential components of moral education. How does Noddings view success in education? Only through high test scores, through the holistic development of the student, by preparing students for the job market, by ensuring classroom discipline. How does Noddings view success in education? That is through the holistic development of the students. Noddings views success in education as the overall development of students, including the moral, emotional and intellectual growth. Thank you, dear friends, for your presence here in this video. Let us continue supporting each other so that I am able to give more and more nice, fruitful videos for cracking NET education and TRB education or any other competitive education. God bless you abundantly. Kindly subscribe if you wish to subscribe, please, because subscription helps a lot in many ways, because it is taken to other areas also. My videos will have certain value, and for that reason I am asking you. And also like, comment as you like. Please spread this these videos to others. Recommend these videos to other students who are not having enough material. I am going to give PDF files, everything. So kindly, especially the professors in colleges, if you are listening to me, kindly ask the student to subscribe so that I am able to give more and more fruitful videos. Not only videos, I will be giving other PDF files and whatever I prepare in view of a NET exam, I will be sending it through, this groups also. So ask them to join the group. Of course, I got 3 groups at the moment. You put them in the group. I hope you know my number, and in case, otherwise you, through the group, you ask me certain details, I am ready to give you. But then ask the students to go through all this. I am sure they will be greatly they will be greatly helped in all the topics, because all the basic facts I am giving in each topic. So that way you will be able to, the students will be able to grasp the basic matter. So God bless you abundantly. Let us meet in other video lecture.